Well, hello and welcome to Black Entrepreneur Institute Live. Tonight we have a great show planned for you. Tonight we're going to introduce you to three of our recent Black Entrepreneur Institute Bootcamp graduates. Now, I'm so excited, Damien, to have these graduates here. You know, they've just gone through this 8-week experience, and tonight we're going to get to introduce the audience to them for the first time as BEI graduates, right?
Absolutely.
Napoleon Hill's 17 principles of personal achievement. One of those lessons is lesson number 17, which is about habits. And it says, developing and establishing positive habits leads to peace of mind, health, and financial security. He says, you are where you are because of your established habits, thoughts, and deeds. And tonight, this really kind of matches up with where we are in BEI. Our tagline for BEI, our motto for BEI, we say we want to help elevate your mindset and elevate your money, right? So tonight, Damien and I are going to take you through an experience with these graduates, and they're going to talk about their experience coming through the boot camp. So Damien, before we start with the graduates, I want to ask you to kind of help set the stage for the audience in terms of the BEI boot camp. So what is it? How long is it? And what do people get out of the boot camp?
So thanks, Cedric. So the BEI Bootcamp is an intensive 8-week journey that we take our boot campers through that marries practical teaching with real world application. And so what we do is we take them on a journey to help them establish a sound foundation regarding their business, to define their niche, to get their business plan going, and to understand some of the critical fundamentals like sales, negotiation, understand the pitfalls to entrepreneurship. So we take them through a really intensive process that's designed to help them really elevate their mindset and their money. And so so that's a little snippet about it, but it's exactly 8 weeks long. It's 8 weeks. It's down and dirty. It's roll up your sleeves and it's do the work time.
Awesome. So let's introduce our audience to our graduates. First, we have Mr. Kenric Lynn. Kenric is a fun-loving person who loves to serve, create, and inspire. He's originally from Fort Sill, Oklahoma, where he grew up in the Dallas, Texas area. He retired after 23 years of honorable service in the United States Army. And he still believes it was the best individual decision that he could make. Kenric is a proud son, brother, husband, and father of 6 and grandfather of 4. Kenric is also the CEO and founder of Local Noon, which by definition is the time at which the sun is at its peak relative to any other point on the earth. He is passionate about helping people see that their light is always shining, even when they think it's not. He is driven by what he calls his 3 L's: to experience more life, to enjoy more liberty, and to create and leave behind more legacy. So let's welcome Mr. Kenric Lynn to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, Cedric.
Yes, absolutely. Next, we have Mr. Kerrie Martin. And Kerrie is a teacher, trainer, and coach with a passion for personal development and growth. Now, Kerrie has spent most of his career dedicated to the process of learning as an educator in a wide variety of educational institutions and organizations, including high school, colleges, and top universities in the world. Kerrie studied human psychology at the University of Aston in Birmingham, England, and has completed his master's degree in human services counseling, life coaching and life coaching at Liberty University And in addition to his educational endeavors, Kerrie has demonstrated a passion for understanding human behavior so he can better serve his community. Kerrie has been married to his wife, Fiona, for 14 years and is a father to a son and a daughter. He is also the CEO and the founder of Achieve on Purpose. I absolutely love that name, Achieve on Purpose. So you know right away what he's going to be about, right? So while he values the titles of teacher, trainer, learning strategist, and coach, he most values being called a believer, a husband, and a father. So let's welcome Mr. Kerrie Martin to the show.
Thanks for having me, Cedric.
Awesome. Glad you're here. And we're going to round out our final guest with Mr. Edward W. Garden II. Now, you know when someone put their middle name and the second on their name, they bring it. Edward W. Garden II is a native of Montclair, New Jersey. He is a proud father of Edward Garden III. Look at that, boy. He graduated with a Bachelor of Arts degree in music from the University of South Carolina. Edward also has a master's degree in music education from the New Jersey City University and a master's in educational leadership. Edward holds standard certifications from the state of New Jersey Department of Ed as a principal, a supervisor, and a music teacher. He also holds a certificate of eligibility from the state of New Jersey Department of Education as a school administrator. He is a certified principal for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Edward has over 20 years experience in education and has led staff and students from preschool to high school. He was one of 3 graduates of the Philly Plus School Turnaround Program, a selective residency program focused on serving underperforming schools. He is the president of Oracle Behavioral Solutions, a company that has a mission to add value to people and influence organizations to maximize results through speaking, coaching, and training. His motto is, if I can help somebody, then my living shall not be in vain. Let's welcome Mr. Edward W. Garden II.
Thank you, Cedric.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. So, Damien, let's just dive in and have a conversation with our audience today. So, I kind of talked about your background and gave the audience a sense of the business that you have. But I want you to also tell the audience who's your target audience and who does your business really serve. So, let's start with Kenric.
Yeah, thanks, Cedric. And I'm glad to be on with all of you today. Cedric said the name of my business is Local Noon. And the people I want to serve are individuals, small businesses, and youth organizations who are looking to almost similar to BEI, elevating their money and the mindset. I want to help people think differently. You know, it's said that if you do what you've always done, you'll always get what you always got. Well, that applies to thinking too. You know, so I'm always asking the question, what would happen if I thought differently about A, B, C, or D? Well, what would happen if you thought differently about your business? These are the things that I would like to work with you, and these are the people I'd like to do it with.
All right. Edward?
Yes, for Oracle Behavioral Solutions, we focus on working with aspiring and current school leaders. And we really help them with their communication leadership skills so they can get the best results, which is most importantly for their students. And it's really important for me to start this company because I believe in the value of having a coach and a mentor to help you move to the next level. So I'm excited about my work.
Awesome. And Mr. Kerrie?
So in my work in education, I've always focused on really helping students to get the very most out of their ability. One of the things I found, though, is a lot of students, when they get to the end of their time studying, they've graduated, they don't really know what they want to do next. or they may have an idea of what they want to do, but they don't know how to go about doing it. And I really want to work with those individuals, not just those who have just graduated, but those in that period after age 22, as you're going forward and you're thinking about getting married and you're thinking about starting your finances, getting sorted, and you're talking about your education. What do you want to do? And I really want to work with people, helping them to clarify their purpose, but also strategically helping them to go and make sure that they deploy themselves effectively.
Awesome.
Good. Thanks for sharing that, guys. So I have a question I'd love to hear your insight on. What has been your biggest challenge as a business owner? Kenric, let's start with you.
Yeah, sure, Damon. Great question. So, no one starts out as Walmart or Alibaba or Amazon on day of 2020 on day one. And so my biggest challenge was actually deciding what exactly it is I wanted to do and what I wanted to serve and who I wanted to serve. Being a part of the Black Entrepreneur Institute has actually helped me refine that. And I'm much more clear on who my target audience is. And I'm thankful to you and all the faculty for that.
Good. Edward?
Yes. So one of the biggest challenges as a business owner for me has been around sales. As a school principal, you understand you have a contract, you have your salary, you don't have to worry about the amount of students you have in the building is a set salary. But when you're an entrepreneur, you have to go out there and sell yourself. And through the work of the Black Entrepreneurs Institute and the bootcamp and the module on sales is really beneficial for me to learn more about that skill and to be able to apply it in our training sessions and really give me the confidence to go out and get the sales so that the income can come in for my business.
Good. Thanks for sharing that, Edward. And Kerrie, how about you, my friend?
Well, Damien, I know that you know the answer to this. For me, it's paralysis by analysis. So when I first connected with Damien, that was really my focus. It was just this idea of I'm a very good planner and I'm definitely a strategic thinker. But I think sometimes because of that analysis has kind of kept me in the holding mode where it's never perfect, it's never right. Whereas I think what the BEI certainly showed me is to really just launch out there and learn as you go. Every opportunity, get the feedback, keep growing. So I think that's been the single biggest challenge, but I think that's certainly something that BEI has definitely helped me with.
Well, that's awesome, Kerrie. And I'm actually gonna ask this question. Start with you. So, you are a recent grad of bootcamp number 2. What's been one of the biggest takeaways for you from the bootcamp?
I think the sense of community that we have within the bootcamp and just the sharing of experiences and knowledge. It's the fact that I think when I initially connected with Damien, I think was first off, I really wanted to move my business forward and I felt like I needed a coach. And I'd come across Edward through another arrangement, and Edward had told me about BEI. And he just said, this is something I'm really interested in. I'm going to do this, maybe have a look at it. So, again, me being a strategic thinker, did a bit of research, find out who these people in the BEI are all about. So I messaged Damien and we kind of had a bit of a back and forth. And what I loved about it was just the fact that I think it was on a Sunday, and he just kept on asking questions. I'd respond, more questions, I'd respond. And it was that continual back and forth. And I had what I felt was coaching, but I hadn't paid a penny. And what that showed me was that there was a real value in the community that was built. Then I met with you, Cedric. We had a one-on-one. And again, it was an opportunity for me to find out what you're about. And again, there's some really great advice, and there was no hard sell. There was no, you got to go and do this. And, if you do this, you'll get this percentage. There's none of that. It was just, you're invested in me as a person. So I think just being part of a community where we have mentors who are investing in us, and even just, other BEI members, that we can have conversations, we can encourage each other. Edward and I, we're accountability partners on Mondays, and, he shares information with me. I share stuff with him. Edward's like, oh yeah, I learned this last week, try this. So just that sense of community to move your business forward. Because I've learned, you know what, being a business owner can be incredibly lonely. And that loneliness can really compound your lack of progress. So the community factor is really the main thing for me that's really been a real benefit of being a part of this.
Sure, absolutely. Well, I actually love that, and you're right. It's definitely not a hard sell. It's, hey guys, here is the BEI Bootcamp. Here's what we know you're going to get out of this bootcamp, and then it's up to you to, here's what it's going to cost you, or your investment rather, and then it's up to you to kind of make that decision versus pressing you saying you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this, right? And because I just believe, if you do it on your own, you decide on your own based on the information you have, you're going to be more invested in it versus, well, someone keeps pressuring me to get into it, right? So Edward, what about yourself? What's been the biggest takeaway from the bootcamp?
Yes, it's been further the value of coaching and mentoring. For me personally, there was a time in my career where my career hit a wall. And what I did some reflection around that, the reason for that is because I didn't have a coach or a mentor in my life for years. And when I really understood the importance of having a coach, someone to really ask you questions and draw what's already inside of you out and put it into action, is a huge benefit. And also having people that are mentors that are where you want to be, have accomplished things that you're trying to accomplish, and are farther along in the game than you are, to be able to talk to you and they're willing to share. That is a great value. So by being a part of the Black Entrepreneurs Institute, having 4 coaches and 4 mentors has been a great for be able to move me forward personally as well as professionally.
Awesome. Absolutely love that. Some people, when they have a difficult time in their career or a drop in their career from whatever they are, they sometimes go into a shell and woe is me and never come out of that, right? Whereas you took it and said, you know what, I know that I can be a whole lot better. I know that I can do a lot of different things. Let me go and get around some like-minded people to help take me to that next level. So absolutely love that. Kenric, what about yourself?
Yeah, thanks for the question, Cedric. My biggest takeaway is just the idea that nothing works until you do. It's kind of like in the health and fitness industry. There are all types of weight loss products that claim to do all of these things, and they work, but not unless you actually do it the way you're supposed to. And that's one of the things that I love about this group, is that there's no coddling. There's only love and support, but there's accountability. And so, again, if you want to do something, you've got to get out there and do it. And the best way that you can help me is for me to go out and actually take action so that I can come back, with results, and you can help me tweak and modify it to fit what I'm trying to do. So yeah, nothing works until you do.
Absolutely. And results matter, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I really love that what you just said, Kenric, because here's what we know: you cannot improve a result until you first create a result. And I think a lot of people get stuck in that place where they're not creating a result because they're worried about failing. And in this journey, we know you're going to make mistakes, you're going to have missteps, and it's a necessary part of the evolution. So I've got a question. So I want you guys to take me back 6 months ago, right? I want to understand, how has what you've learned in the boot camp impacted your business practice today, or your practices today? So why don't we start with Edward?
Yes, thank you, Damien, for the question. So 6 months ago, I was all over the place. No sense of direction, just having so much content that's coming to me from the John Maxwell platform, and didn't have any systems in place, didn't have a firm foundation. I wanted to serve everyone, wanted to save the world. But during this time in joining the boot camp, I was able to discover my niche. and really something to focus on. And as mentioned, with a career of over 20 years in education, didn't think about it. Why was I running from starting there and really helping out that industry or educators, school leaders, aspiring school principals, and really starting there as the starting part for my business. And through the boot camp and through the coaching and mentoring, that's where I was grounded and refocused. And that was worth the investment for me, because I still would have been confused and with no direction. So I'm very pleased for what I've learned over this time period.
Okay, good stuff. Thanks for sharing that. You know, it's true that when you don't necessarily have a focus or an issue, you can be all over the place, and having that focus is really important if you're going to really execute. So Kerrie, how about you? Take us back 6 months ago. Where were you, and how has being a part of the bootcamp actually impacted your business practices today?
Edward kind of took my answer, kind of. So what I'm going to say is that I think I think we refer to it as FOMO, fear of missing out. So I knew that I wanted to move my business forward. And as a result, I would stay alert to things that are going on, how other people are doing in their business. And I hear a little bit of this, let me try that. I hear a bit of that, let me try a bit of that. And I had all of these ideas and all of these strategies, all of these products, but I had no focus. And I think that was the real thing. I really needed to strip it all down and just to really focus on delivering what I know I can really do well. Let me do one thing really well, and let me really just master that, and then let that grow. And I think in one of the sessions, we talked about this idea of our business starting off like a tree trunk. You know, get the tree trunk solid, let it grow well, and then from that, other things will branch. And I think I was kind of addicted to, I've got to be able to deliver this and deliver that, and serve this person, this person, this person. And I think what I came to realize is that if I can just really master one thing and serve a particular group really well, everything that I need will flourish from that. And I think that just having those conversations with the mentors and with the other boot campers just really helped me to just stay on the path, stay consistent, and just to really focus my efforts on a daily basis.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, focus is key. Focus is key. Thanks, Kerrie. That was a different answer than Ed had a little bit, though. So, Kenric, how about you, my friend? 6 months ago to where you are now, what difference has BEI made, and how has it impacted your business practices?
Thanks, David. And I love your responses there with Kerrie. 6 months ago, I'm the type that collects stuff. So operating in this space, I've got a lot of stuff. Someone mentioned having access to this program and that tool and this tool. And I was just sitting on my pile of stuff. And at the time, I felt good about it because I felt like I'd actually accomplished something. But the truth is I hadn't. And so one of the things that I've been able to do from being in the boot camp is to really take a hard look at how I thought about my own business. And I remember something someone said from one of our I'll call it a get together not too long ago, is that, if you're not making money, you're not in business. Now I had heard that before, but sometimes certain things just don't click. The light doesn't come on when you think it will. But it's those times where you do something like jumping into the boot camp. And for whatever reason, I heard it this time and I listened. And so, when Cedric was sharing about the tools that he used, I was like, well, I've got that. I've already started creating something, but I built bridges, but I never crossed the bridge, so I built it, but I didn't hit, I created the email, but I didn't hit send. I built the program, but I never hit launch. I created the website, but I never hit publish until now. So just the fact that I've taken a look at my business and just asked myself and coached myself with the help of my mentors, who actually I want to say thank you for caring about me enough to stay on me. It's been huge. It's been huge. And like you said, Damon, you got to get the results. You can't get the results if you don't hit send. You can't get response if you don't hit send. You can't get the results if you don't launch. So
Right. You're absolutely right about that. I love that. Kerrie, I want to go back to something you said in our Emerald Club, right? And for the audience, Emerald Club is the next level after the boot camp. Okay. And in our right now we're all studying a book in this Emerald Club. And one of the things that you said in it stuck with me. You said this last week. You said you, after the session, you went to your wife and you said, let me tell you the type of goals these guys are setting. Right. And so that stood out to me that you said that. And when you heard the goals that we were setting, what impact did that have on you?
Initially, stress, because I'm someone that sets goals, and I knew that at some point there would be a question of, okay, Kerrie, what's your goal? But then when I heard your goal and I heard Angela's goal, I was like, man, the game has changed. And I remember just leaving that session and just saying to my wife, you have no idea what these guys are talking about. And even yesterday, we had another session of the book club. And as I went back into my bedroom, my wife was like, okay, so what did they say this time? And and I had to break it down. But I think I just came away and I was just like, yeah, you know what? I really have to continue to grow the way that I think. And as much as I want to grow the business starts growing from my own mind. And I think that was something that really resonated with me. And I think there's something about just being in an atmosphere where people dream different. When you're around it, you end up having to do the same. Right. I told a story a few years ago when I was doing a message on Father's Day. And I was just explaining that with my son when he was 2, he would often watch me in the bathroom as I'm getting ready, and I'd put my deodorant on, put my spray on and things like that. And I remember I saw him in his room one day and he got a big can of like Airwick air freshener and he was going, and I was like, what is he doing? But then I realized that he was just imitating what he saw me do. He didn't imitate it quite right because he got the wrong spray.
He smells fresh.
Hey, canister.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, that's very good. And Kerrie, I don't know if you say anything, but your screen froze up. But so, Damien, as faculty in the boot camp, what I want you to do is to kind of give our audience a sense of the 8 weeks and what a boot camper experiences during those 8 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. So Cedric, when everyone comes in, we want to make sure that what you have is a real business and not a side hustle. So, week 1 begins with, getting your business set up and laying a solid foundation, making sure that you have your business license, that you're registered with all the proper authorities, that you've got your business insurance, that you are starting to work on our actual business plan, because a lot of people get into business and they get into business because it's an area of passion for them, but they don't necessarily go and get registered with the appropriate governing authorities to make sure that their business is a legitimate business. And then when we follow that one up, the homework to that then is for you to go work on the business plan. But then when we come back the next week, we talk about finding your niche, because as we know that if you're serving everyone, then you're serving no one. But a lot of entrepreneurs have no idea how to really whittle it down and to define a target market that they can actually serve and serve well. So that's like week 2. Week 3, then we talk about creating your brand, right? Because as a business, you've got to have a brand. And so we take you through some teaching there for you to work on creating your brand, including the colors, like what are people perceiving from you? So all of those things are really, really critical in the pursuit of building a business. And then I'm a little bit biased here, Cedric. You already know this. I've shared this with you that we talk about moving the comma. And in that lesson, my personal favorite, we talk about macro streams and micro streams of income, and how you can take what you have right now and leverage it and repurpose it and build in some additional income streams. We know that if you're going to build wealth, you got to have multiple streams of income. And so as a business owner, you've got to be thinking about how to generate additional streams of income. So moving my comma, lots of the boot campers will tell you that that particular lesson right there, that one is worth the price of the entire boot camp. I got to tell you, people have come away from there actually making money. And then on top of that, when after the lesson, you got to come back with your actual stream of income. So this is not just where we're just telling you about something for you to go think about it. When we come back the next time, you actually have to do it. And then for those of most people know me that I love sales, and we know that as entrepreneurs, you're in sales, whether you realize it or not. If you have a business and you are providing value in exchange for money, you are in the business of sales, and you've got to get comfortable with it. And a lot of people have this perception, they think of sales and they think of the used car salesperson type. And so we want you to get comfortable with sales. And so we do the teaching on sales. And then when we come back the next week, then you have to exercise what we've taught you, right? So you actually have to sell your product and sell your service. And we give you critique and we give you feedback on that, right? The following week, we talk about negotiating, getting to that yes, because if we're going to be successful, we've got to hear yes more than we hear no. And so we go through an exercise and teaching you about negotiation. And then guess what? When you come back, you've got to negotiate. We give you a simulation where you've got to work through. And then we talk about the pitfalls of entrepreneurship with the following week. And then we give you an exercise which is really designed to help you understand and identify what your potential pitfalls are, because we know that awareness is everything. And so when you understand what it is that could trip you up and hold you back, then you can start to build in strategy to sidestep those things that would normally trip you up. And then guess what? When you come back the next week, then you have to tell us what your strategy is for overcoming the obstacles. And so that kind of rounds out the entire 8 weeks. It is practical teaching married with practical application, so that you walk away with tangible skills that you can use to grow your business.
Yeah, and I absolutely love that, Damien, that we decided to put in the practical application piece, right? Because you can go anywhere and get the theory. Every day, all day, twice on Sunday, people are teaching theory online somewhere, right? But it's the application part that makes the difference, because now you have an opportunity then to practice what you were taught, so that the first time that you get to practice it is not in front of a customer. It's in a safe environment where you can feel okay to fail or stumble or whatever. But now, once you practice it and you get in front of that customer, wow, it makes all the difference in your work, because I already know how to handle this because I've been through it, right? Versus theory. So Kerrie, Kenric, and Edward, you've gone through the self simulation and you've gone through the negotiation simulation. First of all, have either of you ever gone through anything like that before? Okay.
No, I have not. It was a new experience.
All right. And so let's talk about what it was like going through those simulations. You can talk about both of them or one or the other. And Edwards, you spoke up. Go ahead, and I'll start with you.
Okay. Yes, as I mentioned before, sales and negotiation is new for me. And going through the simulations has made me more aware about myself in terms of how to communicate with a potential client, and really made me think about the preparation that needs to happen, really knowing your product, and also knowing exactly when you're negotiating what you are willing to settle for and still make a profit during the sales. And that application portion was definitely beneficial for me, and a key point of being able to do it in a safe environment and have the support of the mentors to be able to coach me through this process. So it was a great experience.
Awesome. Kenric?
Yeah, I really love the negotiation simulation. You know, I've been doing sales pretty much most of my life. If you ever remember the old desktop calculators with the pens in it, I used to sell those, walking with my box from business to business. I sold the steak knife blocks. I've sold cell phones. I've sold quite a few things, but negotiating is a whole nother skill set. And it was one of those things that through a new level of awareness from doing the simulation that I realized I avoided negotiating. Right. I came in with something. I knew that what I had would probably solve your problem. But once you said no or you gave pushback, it wasn't just about overcoming that. It was I just accepted that because I didn't want to be pushy. I didn't want to be that guy, like somebody said, you know, the used car salesman in the plaid suit. And so
not the plaid suit.
Yeah, the plaid suit. You know, and so through the negotiation simulation, it actually really put a spotlight on a gap that I had. And you know, we've talked about this before. There's nothing but love, support, and accountability here in BEI. And I'll tell you, the person I was paired with, you know, he didn't make it easy on me. And you know, maybe he's watching, but I can tell you, he didn't make it easy on me. But that was good. That was good because he pushed me to think about it, and I still think about it today. Not in terms of, oh, I wish I would have said this, or I wish I would have said that, but what tools do I need now to put in my toolbox? So when that comes up again, I'm actually prepared while I'm also just staying in the moment. So yeah, I really, really, really appreciate the practical application part of the boot camp.
Awesome. Awesome. Kerrie?
I really didn't have much experience in sales or negotiation, so it was a totally new experience for me. But one of the things that I really learned from it was just the science of preparation. And I think that's one of the things that you all did a really great job of, was just getting us to think ahead of time. What are the things that we need to consider? What are the things we're willing to negotiate on? What are some of the factors that we can bring in? What are some of the benefits we can talk about? And I think learning to really spend the time to prepare beforehand made me feel really equipped to be able to deal with that. And I know that in the dialogue that we had, I was with Damien, and I know that Damien is just always preaching about how much he loves sales, and it just kind of made me think, oh man, of all the people I could go up against. But I think, you know, I kind of felt a greater sense of triumph for the fact that I went through something that was challenging. And as a result, my confidence is so much greater having gone through that. So I definitely, you know, thank you all for creating that opportunity for sure.
Yeah, that's good. And by the way, Kerrie, I thought you did outstanding. You know, I think you're natural.
Thank you.
You might be in the wrong career. You have a future in sales. So let me ask you all this. If you could give us one or two things that an entrepreneur should consider in terms of why they should do the BEI Bootcamp, what would those two things be? Kerrie, let's start with you, and then we'll go to Ed and then Kenric.
I think for me, I think one is one of the main reasons that I came in was that, as I mentioned, when I had communicated with you, Damien, I had spoke about the fact that I was looking for a coach. But one of the benefits that was really selling to me was just that with BEI, I had access to 4 coaches, all who had different experiences, different perspectives, who could give me different insights. I mean, 4 for 1, that's always a good deal. And then secondly, I think I just love the fact that we're all on a journey together, that even as mentors, you're still on a journey of growth. And that, you know, that you're still setting goals for yourself. You're still giving us insight into what you're learning and how you're growing. It's not a top-down approach. It really is that we're all in this journey. Yes, we have, you know, some big brothers and sisters who are further ahead than we are, but we all have our own lanes, and everyone is really trying to pull each other through it. So that, particularly in this day and age where there's so much competitiveness and so on, to have an atmosphere where it's all about us as a group moving forward, absolutely love that.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Thanks, Kerrie. Go ahead, Ed.
So I think that for the one thing that is really important for entrepreneurs to join the bootcamp is about the resources that you get by being a part of the bootcamp. Every time that there's a training, as well as through the application calls, the information is shared through our private Facebook page, is constant resources that are always helping you to improve your mindset, something that you can apply and put towards your business. And many times you do not you're not in an environment where you actually get that. And I just know that every time that I was in a teaching call or application call, I was able to have new resources that I was able to share with others and also apply for my business. So the one major thing that I would say for any entrepreneurs and why to join the boot camp is definitely the resources that you get by being a part of the boot camp.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for that, Edward. All right, Kenric, your turn.
Yeah, I love those responses from Edward and Kerrie. You know, there's a Zulu word. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's called, forgive me if I pronounce it wrong. It's called sawubona, and it's somewhat of a greeting, and it basically says, you know, we see each other, we acknowledge each other, and we recognize each other. And I can tell you that if you're an entrepreneur, if you join the BEI Bootcamp, you're gonna be in front of people who see you. They really and truly see you. Everything about you is important to them. So elevating your money and your mindset, if that's what you want, then you want to be here, because they could be doing something else. Trust me, I know all of them. They're doing well. You know, I teach Cedric all the time. I know Cedric didn't need my money, you know, but that's not why he's here. That's not why Damien's here. That's not why Dr. Nick is here. That's not why Angela is here. And I can tell you, if you join, again, you're going to find love, support, and accountability. And what business owner doesn't need or want that?
Yes, absolutely. 100% agree with that. Thank you guys for sharing that. So, you know, one of the things that we do during the boot camp is we bring in other resources, right? I mean, we have 4 minds, Angela, Damien, Dr. Nick, and myself, but we also bring in other experts in certain areas. So we brought in, for example, Marcus Davis, the owner of the Breakfast Club and 3 other major restaurants in the city of Houston. We brought in Jason Reuter, who's in charge of pricing and profit margin strategy for one of the top 10 largest pharmaceutical companies in the world, right? So tell us, what was the impact or what was the value of those, bringing those people in to help with, you know, doing the boot camp? What value did you get out of it? And Edward, you want to go first?
Sure. So you understand that when you invest in the boot camp, that you are getting the support from the 4 founders of BEI, but to have the additional training and information from the guests that come in with their experiences from the different industries, and just to be able to pour into us as bootcamp cohort members is definitely an added value. And we're able to learn from them, be able to ask questions, and they also made themselves accessible to us as well beyond the session and time that they were presenting to us. So that experience is definitely valuable for us.
Awesome. Kenric?
Yeah, I really love the idea of bringing in people from the field. So, you know, I spent that time in the 23 years in the military, and it was huge when you got a chance to be in front of someone who came from the field and they brought back and made sense of all of these policies and these procedures that we see on paper, but to get to actually interact with someone who's actually gone out and used them. Now they get to share their lessons learned, and they get to share their field expedient methods, which are not necessarily shortcuts, but these are different ways who say, well, hey, there's going to be certain conditions where you're going to have to pivot. You're going to have to flex. There's certain ways you're going to have to think about different things in different ways. And so just by bringing them on, you mentioned Marcus Davis, and I love the fact that, you know, you get to learn personal things about them. You know, he and I both are fans of Robert Glasper. So if you listen to Robert Glasper, and if you haven't, go check him out. But just to find out that they're human, that there are humans out here doing the things that you're trying to do. So I really love that part. And the kids, sorry for going over, but I can't help but mention it. The kids. I love when y'all bring on the young 15-year-old entrepreneurs. That say, hey, old guy, listen. just pick up the phone, hit record, and start talking. Why are you complicating this? So yeah, I really love that. I really love that.
Absolutely. Kerrie?
I think I reflect on the fact that of all the NBA players that came after Michael Jordan, the closest was Kobe Bryant. In his mannerisms, in his game, in his attitude. But one of the things that I learned from his interviews was that he spent a lot of time trying to pick Michael Jordan's brain, walking like him, talking like him. What do you see in this situation? If this happened, how would you deal with it? And I think it's a similar kind of thing in the sense that when we have these individuals who are active business owners, we get the chance to really pick their brain and see in intricate detail, what are you doing? How did you do it? Why are you doing it? But also, where did you struggle? And when you did struggle, how did you overcome that? So I think it's an opportunity to get a real case study of what it means to be a business owner, not just at the end result, but what was your journey? And how do we, as people who are watching, how do we grow and learn from that journey?
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. Thank you guys, first of all, for being attending the Black Entrepreneurs Institute Bootcamp. Second, thanks for being active participants in the bootcamp. Third, thanks for being on here today. We definitely appreciate it and appreciate your testimony and for joining the Emerald Club as well. And we're going to continue going. We're going to continue growing together, as you guys said. So, Damien, let's kind of wrap up here in our last 3.5 minutes talking about the BEI Bootcamp. When does it start? How can people register, and what do we have to help people get registered for the next bootcamp?
Yeah, so the next boot camp begins on Tuesday, January the 5th, right? So we'll close the cart, we'll close registration down on January the 3rd. So you want to make sure that you jump in and get registered right away. And folks, let me tell you, don't wait until the last minute. You want to get in and get settled because we're gonna hit the ground running in 2021, and it will be 8 weeks long. So we'll go. Let's see, we're going to go 8 weeks, and so we'll end up graduating, I think, the first Thursday in February. So it's going to be 8 weeks straight. And this month we're doing a very special offer. And by the way, you can find out the details about the bootcamp by going to blackentrepreneurinstitute.com. www.blackentrepreneurinstitute.com is where you can go. You'll find out all the details. And I promise you, you want to write this down. You want to go there because we've got a very, very, very special offer. You guys know what the season is right now. So trust me, go there and look at the offer that we're making. We're making a killer offer. There's no way you go there and you say no, because at the end of the day, we just want to help you. We just want to help you. So, Cedric, is there anything that you want to add to that?
Yeah, no, I thank you very much for that. You know, we're coming up on Thanksgiving holiday here soon. We're also coming up on Black Friday. And let me tell you what, you will want to stay tuned to blackentrepreneurinstitute.com for Black Friday because we're going to have, like Damien said, this killer offer for you to join the next bootcamp. And I will tell you, if you're looking to elevate your mind and you're looking to elevate your money, there's no better place to be. And Damien, just because the name is Black Entrepreneurs Institute, can other races join Black Entrepreneur Institute?
Oh, absolutely. We are an inclusive organization. We love everybody, but you know, one of the things you will learn in business is that you have to plant your flag somewhere. You have to define who you're going to serve. So just because we focus on Black and minority business owners doesn't mean that anyone of any race can't come. We are inclusive, so we're not excluding anyone for any reason at all. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're not Black, that's all right. Register for the institute and the boot camp and let us help you because we're here to serve.
Absolutely. Well, again, Kenric, Edward W. Garden II, and Kerrie, thank you guys very much for coming on the show tonight. We've definitely enjoyed it, and we appreciate you very much. You guys go and have a great rest of your day, a great night. And remember, when you're ready to elevate your mind and your money, you need to get on over here and join this Black Entrepreneurs Institute Bootcamp. Good night.